very good morning, dear esteemed viewer out there, and welcome to today's all-important edition of Citizens and the Law. Important in the sense that I have two powerful personalities here in the studio to get the I's and T's dotted and crossed as regards giving you and I answers to the questions that will come before them. To do justice to the topic of the day, I promise you, yesterday you may have heard in the promo on radio that today ABS Channel 27 on Nature will be looking at in their Citizens and the Law program on a topic captioned Driving Under the Influence. Some of our drivers, either they are drunk with alcohol or they are dazed with drugs, and hence they embark on certain abnormalities, violating of traffic laws. That is why today we have in the studio, I have the Federal Road Safety Commander, the big organ of the Road Safety in Anambra State. I'm talking about Commander Andrew Ayodele Kumapayi of the Road Safety Corps, Anambra State. Sir, you're welcome to the studio.
Good morning.
Okay, also I have the big man of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. You know what it means? NDLEA of Anambra State, the commander of NDLEA. I'm talking about whose Banu, if I make mistakes, he will forgive me. Then I cannot make mistake in telling you that he is Muhammad Idris, the commander NDLEA Anambra State. Sir, you're welcome to the studio.
A very good morning to you.
My name is Jude Mascot Obiagu, the anchor of this very program. Like I said earlier, we're going to look at driving under the influence in law, be it drug, be it alcohol. They are here to tell us the consequences. Sir, if we may get started, I'm starting from the road safety big man, Kumapayi. What does it mean? What does it mean to drive under the influence?
Thank you very much. Like you rightly said, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. In a simple man language for everybody to understand, is a person, a driver that is operating a motor vehicle and at the same time is being impaired by alcohol or other drugs that make that person incapable of operating that motor vehicle safely. That is simple, a definition of somebody that is driving under the influence of alcohol. Is an offense under the Federal Road Safety Commission Establishment Act 2007, Section 10(4). And again, if you go to the National Road Traffic Regulations 28(2), you specify the penalty. The penalty is the 5,000 naira for somebody that commits that fine. It is a very risky offense, it's very fatal, and it has caused a lot of road fatal crashes, for somebody that indulged in driving at the same time drinking, drunk driving.
We used to talk about breathalyzer that checkmates the driver before actually they would leave the park. That would have detected these stupidities of embarking on drugs and alcohol. Is there anything the police and road safety are doing to catch the drivers in the act? Because some of them, if you are loading their vehicle, they'll be somewhere taking in their hemp or taking those drugs. They call it shining of the eyes, yes, without knowing that they are being stupid.
Yes.
So
yes.
Is there anything you and the police are doing?
Yes. Thank you very much. There are so many types of equipment that we use to test them. The lot of breathalyzer that we have. We have one that called alcoholizer. It's a disposable one that the Federal Safety Corps normally use. What we do is every day, as our passengers go out in the morning before the driver set out for any trip, we go to motor parks, the fleet operator terminals. We do what we call random sampling. We don't just go to motor park and start sniffing on every driver. We'll look at you by interacting with you. You know what I'm saying now? We'll know whether you have we suspect you that you have the content in your bloodstream. You know what I'm saying now? Then we'll conduct the test. Then for those that are positive, we'll call the management of that transport company and we'll disallow those drivers not to go. And we'll meet out the appropriate punishment.
Okay.
This we do constantly. It's part of our the mandate given to FRSA, we do it constantly on a daily basis.
Please, I want to plead with you. If you want to do such thing, invite somebody like me. Those men should appear on camera. Their company should appear on camera, so that they will know the depth of what they're doing. Okay, Sir Mohammed Idris, I come to you, the NDLEA man. What drugs can affect a person's driving ability?
Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody. Drugs generally is a substance that is, when it is taken, it enters into the body and it affects the psychology of the person who takes it, and it also affects the thinking, particularly the drug of abuse. So there are many drugs that are being used illegally, and there are those that are being used as law permits. But the drugs that we are talking about now are the illegal drugs.
The illegal ones?
Yes, that affect the central nervous system, that is the brain. So you see, it affects the person who takes it. Sometimes when somebody wants to take a drugs, he has already formed an opinion. What type of drugs am I going to take? It depends on what action is going to undertake. So if it is something that is label, that is, it involves somebody's physical ability, there are some drugs that somebody will take to assist him do what ordinarily he can not be able to do. So we have the psychoactive drugs, we have the stimulant drugs that stimulate the activity of the brain and it increases the person's ability to perform. And we have the depressant. The depressants are drugs that are being taken to depress the mind and to get some excitement. But when you are talking about driver, most of the drivers are taking drugs that are giving them agility and it is stimulates them to drive longer hours without even rest. And the consequence of that is after he drives longer hours, then he has to look for the depressant drugs that will get him rest. So you see, when a driver drives, the drugs impact on his brain and he will not be able to see a lot of reasons on the road, and that has had a lot of negative consequences, particularly on the driver, on the passengers and the general public. It causes a lot of carnage on the road, and majority of those that are taking these drugs, they have like feelings that, like say for example from here to Oka, it is let's say 30 minutes, so I want to cover it in 15 minutes. Ordinarily, they are thinking of an ordinary things that it's not necessarily to have. So if you are trying to do something that is against the nature, definitely there is going to be a problem.
Now I am looking at a trilogy, the trilogy of the police, the NDLEA, and the road safety corps.
Yes.
What is happening within this trilogy? The road safety man knows when somebody is acting or driving abnormally. The NDLEA man knows when somebody is behaving like one who has taken drugs and the type of drugs he may have taken.
Yes.
The police stands in position of arresting that person and making him to bear the full wrath of the law.
Yes.
Now the police is not here. I want you to speak your mind and that of the police in telling us, what have you done, Oga Road Safety and Oga NDLEA, in getting these people and their nonsenses nipped in the bud?
So you see, talking about drugs, one thing that will interest you, that there are drugs that are said to be socially accepted drugs.
Yeah.
What are these socially accepted drugs?
Yeah.
That like alcohol. There has not been any legislation as far as NDLEA is concerned that when I see you selling alcohol or when I see you taking alcohol, I will punish you. You understand? There was no law to that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But our own effort was to enlighten the general public of the dangers that is associated with alcohol drinking.
Excess consumption of alcohol.
Even the moderate that you are talking about the capacity
Maybe somebody who is taking, you can see somebody that can take 10 bottles, and you can see a person that can take one and it destroys him immediately. So the issue is that
Your capacity.
the capacity, but in NDLA, they say there are socially accepted drugs, freely available and socially acceptable. Cola nut is among, cigarette is among, and beer, alcohol is among the drugs. So NDLA has no capacity to punish anybody because of his taking alcohol. However,
let me
finish. However, there are areas which is given to us is for public enlightenment. This type of program that we are doing, so as to let people know of the consequences, health consequences, economic consequences, and what have you of taking alcohol, and especially excess taking of that particular drugs.
Let me just add to what I just said there. Yes, you asked this question. There is a synergy, between the police, the FRC, and DLA. Here in the state. It's on record that we have jointly conducted raids at the motor parks. That I'm saying now, for those people that are selling alcohol. If you look at the motor parks that we have, generally there's no law per se, but I think there's an edit. This edit by the local government. Administration of local government is under the P of the administration of parks. They are under the purview of the local government, because they are the one administering people, those that are responsible for selling revenues and co. And I'm quite aware that most of those local governments have discharged laws that nobody should sell alcohol, but it's not being enforced even by the something. So what we do jointly with the NDLA, we are conducting raids here in the Anambra State. We go to those parks and ensure that nobody sells, especially those hawkers. Those hawkers that normally bring what they call it, mixtures and co to sell to the drivers in the morning. We do it constantly, and especially we are approaching the end of the year now. The Ember Month, which is very rampant, and it's a collective thing that we do with the NDLA and Nigerian Police Force, and we ensure that we eradicate such people from the motor parks.
I'm not particularly against the police or any other department, but what I want to say is that a lot of graduates are bound. But
the key aspect of it is the sensitization of those drivers. We sensitize them to, I'm saying that on the need for them to abstain for such substance. The disadvantages of them taking such alcohol, in their bloodstream, it has a negative effect, can cause road traffic crashes. And that's the essence.
I'm now going to ask you a question that will enable you to talk more on this. Can you enumerate on the dangers of driving under the influence? The dangers of driving under the influence. This will take you to telling me now the record of culprits, the record of arrests, the record of persecution. In the process of giving me this enumeration of dangers of driving under the influence, you have the opportunity now of telling me, because I wanted to ask you now, how many drivers have been arrested and punished by the police, by the NDLEA, by the Road Safety Corps? You go out there and embark on sensitization. You don't tell a black man to move. You only know that he is supposed to move when you apply force behind his back. If you tell our people, please don't do this, at times it doesn't work. Most times 80% it doesn't work. But when you apply some necessary or reasonable force, as the law says, they will have some fears of doing or committing such offenses. So is there any record of Anambra State have gotten an arrest or like 100, 200 people in the offense of drugging or alcoholism? Is there any such record?
Well, let me, before you respond, let me just...
no, it's your question.
I'll be talking in respect of alcohol. For other substances, I think my brother here will speak on that. For alcohol, we have been going to Ponto Parks. I think in the last this year, I think we have been able to get three
convictions.
Not convictions that we detected before moving.
Well, 3 is too small.
Well, we have not been able to get anyone for what they call it, while on transit. And those ones, 2 of them were issued tickets.
Okay.
2 were issued tickets, while the other one were disallowed because we quantify the perceivable level of alcohol level, in the body as approved for Nigeria is 0.5 gram per liter. Or if you look at blood alcohol concentration, it's at 0.05%. And then when we look at it's above, you know what I'm saying now, then you'll be tried for that. You know what I'm saying now. So what we do is we basically, for us to sensitize them, we talk to them and we tell them the disadvantages, the risk involved for such a driver indulging, in what they call it, in alcohol. And let me spell it out to you now. That driver had the risk of being prosecuted.
Yes.
That's the risk. You know what I'm saying now? Can go to jail because anytime we go to mobile court operations and they might say they don't take it easy with anybody found drunk, a driver that is drunk, they send that person to jail. So it's the risk of going to jail. Then it's an embarrassment to himself, even to the family. People feel disappointed. So I'm saying that this driver, being dodgy, then they touch it like that, is a sort of embarrassment to that driver himself. It's a risk to other passengers that is carrying. You know what I'm saying now? Yeah. Even other road users. Somebody that is driving, one thing, this alcohol is a what they call it? Depressant. It slow down every of your body.
The person's mental reason.
Slow it down. That even when you are driving, just because of the alcohol that you are taking, you'll be able to reflect your action. You know what I'm saying now? Somebody crossing the road, you won't reflect. You know what I'm saying now? You don't lock that person down. That's one of the advantages of taking
Thank you. There is still viewer. You are watching Citizens and the Law on ABS Television, Channel 27 on Nature. And the topic we are handling here is driving under the influence. And I have with me here in the studio doing justice to this very topic, I have Mohammed Idris, the commander and the boss of the MDLEA, Anambra State. And I also have the sector commander of Road Safety Corps, Anambra State, in the person of Andrew Ayodele Kumapai. We have to go on a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Gentlemen, I want to talk to our people in vernacular, but what I'm trying to tell them, after talking in vernacular, calling us means you have to manage your English. You try by Nivaine Makiabo, Ndenako Bala, na Lamanya, Laba, Ingufege Manyoke, Nke Buavo, Engogo, Diaga, Ogu, Nensu, Wenano Bala. Akara ejikwa bụ 070-46777644. Again, 070-46777644. Nke ọzọ wee bụrụ 081-222-72384. Again, 081-222-72384. 84. Those are the numbers. Sir Idris, I'm coming to you now with this important question. How does stimulant drugs, you've mentioned it before, how does these stimulant drugs and the like, how does it affect the driver?
So let people understand what is stimulant drugs. From the word stimulate to
enhance
somebody's performance. Anybody who is...
This enhancement, whether it is negative or positive?
Most of the time, the enhancement end up to be a negative one. Because let's take, for example, amphetamines, the one that we popularly known as ICD. Even if you could recall, in the late 80s, when some of us were in school, you see that you want to read TDB till daybreak. You need something that will help you to refuse to allow you to sleep. And then you get on that stimulant drugs. But at the end of the day, whatever you read overnight, in the morning, you have forgotten about it because you want to overshoot your target. So a driver, for example, I was privileged to be in the company of some pilgrims in Mecca from Nigeria. We were in the same room. So incidentally, myself and the boss of federal safety were in that room. So they didn't know who we were. Then they were talking about the drugs that they are taking. Say a journey, for example, of 2 hours, they will cover it in 45 minutes. Then somebody was asking, how did you do it? He said, yes, there are one drugs that we used to take. It will, in fact, you don't see the distance. And that is one of the problems of these drugs. It hallucinates you. It makes you see things not in the proper perspective. You can see a trailer coming and you can view it as a small car.
And even when they die in the process,
yes,
in the spirit, they'll think they're still driving.
Yes.
Not knowing that they are dead.
So these are some of the drugs, particularly cocaine is being used sometimes for people to get themselves enhanced and to do the abnormality. What I'm now saying is that you have the ability, natural ability, to drive safely and to get to your destination safely. But because of the belief that I want to make a lot of money or I want to get to the destination before my coke driver so that I will get load and come back. You understand? Somebody will say that I will go and come 2 times. Ordinarily, it is only 1 time that is supposed to undertake that movement. But he will have in mind that I will make it 2 trips. So if you have that, you are going to make it 2 trips. Definitely you need foreign substance.
Let's put this out. Hello? Hello?
You need something that will enhance you.
You might have to call us back.
You need something that you will enhance you. So this, you go for those drugs that will make you feel stimulated. And we are now going to talk about what is the effect of that particular action that you have taken. You are covering a distance of ordinarily 2 hours in 1 hour. That means you are putting the lives of so many people in danger. Not only the passengers, even other road users. So what we are now trying to explain to people is that you will allow yourself to work natural. Whatever you get, you ask God to bless that thing that you have gotten. You understand? Because at the end of the day, all what you are saying, you are going to do that to get money.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Your name and location, then you ask your question or make your contribution.
Good morning. I'm calling from Territory.
Okay, my brother, good morning. What's your name?
My name is Emeka.
Okay,
Please,
Emeka.
I have a question. First of all, I want to commend the guests in the studio for
Thank you.
Trying to enlighten us about some of these effects of driving under the influence of alcohol
And drugs.
But my question is this: please, is Retinol or tramadol, where can they be classified? I'm asking the NDLE officer.
Okay.
Is it a threat to, because some people, when doctors do prescribe that for people that have severe injury, but these days they find out that people are abusing the drug. Youths are taking it also. Is it also let him get us that one too?
Yes.
Please.
Okay. Listen and get the response.
Tramadol is a pain reliever, and the dosage that is accepted in Nigeria is 100 milligram. However, you will see tramadol that is being used 150, 120, even 250, and those one that we see, we seize and we prosecute the offenders. However, tramadol is a stimulant, and a lot of people, a lot of laborers, a lot of drivers, a lot of people who are doing menial job are very much addicted to that particular role. But however, we are looking at the consequences, the negative consequences, because it used to drain the water in your body and your blood. It used to make it thick. So when the blood is thick, then it will going to affect the brain. And when the brain is affected, it's also affecting the heart. So what we are now saying is that the use of tramadol is very dangerous because of this thing that I have mentioned. But it is a stimulating drug. However, if you see somebody is being prescribed to use tramadol, it must have some severe pains in order to relieve the pains. You see, sometimes people who have a lot of pains, when they go to the hospital, they will be prescribed a drug, and when they take it, they feel better. So anytime things like this happen to them, they don't need to go back to the doctor. They will continue applying that drug. Not only applying that drug, they will even become doctors to other people. They say, what is happening to you? They say, I'm having this and that. So there was a day I went to the hospital. Doctor gave me this type of, let me bring it for you. Forgetting that his own condition is entirely...
The body chemistries are not the same.
Yes. So by the time somebody takes it and he gets the that he is looking for, it has become his drug of choice, and he will be taking it.
Taking drugs outside doctor's prescription is abuse.
Is abuse, definitely. No matter what. What we are now saying, if you have any condition, don't misuse drugs. Go to the chemist, collect drugs, because you don't know what happened to you. You have to be tested. You have to be examined. The expert will tell you this is what is your problem, and he will prescribe for you the appropriate medicine that you are going to take. But people have become doctors generally. Like I told you, if I go to the hospital and I have a condition and I discuss it with the doctor and the doctor prescribes it and I take it. So if I am sitting by my friend and he's telling me something similar to what I have, I say, there is a drug that I was, in fact, he has not finished his own. Then you go and bring it to give it to that person. So when the person takes it and he feels better, he has become his own drug of choice. Then whatever happens to him, he will go and continue using that drug. And he also go and be telling...
Undermining the side effects.
Yes, and we are all guilty of this. Majority of us take drugs from our brothers, from our friends. When the drugs is okay for him, he will believe that it is going to be okay for you. And that is where we are having a lot of problems of drug abuse in Nigeria. You can imagine that the record that was put last year, put Nigerians average 14.3%, 3 times the global average of consumption of illicit drugs. That is what is the position in Nigeria. So Nigerians are taking drugs 3 times the global average. You are bringing all these type of drugs, including alcohol, which you can see it everywhere. The availability of alcohol. We had a program when a traditional ruler has raised a lot of concern on the availability of alcohol. As I'm coming now, I saw a signboard that is discouraging the young one from participating into alcoholism. I have seen a sign because the problem is now not only for the matured mind, even the younger ones are now being brought into the issue of taking alcohol, which is not going to be good for their life. It is not going to be for their health, and it is not going to be good for the general society. Because of that, you are going to have a lot of problem of productivity, because you know that taking of alcohol, excess of it, can go down to destroy some vital organs, particularly the liver. And by the time your liver is being affected, the end of person is almost closer.
Thank you very much, Musbahu Muhammad Idris, the boss of the NDLEA in Anambra State. I am coming to you now, Chief Kumapayi of the Road Safety Corps. Can you enumerate, sir, on substance abuse and criminal behaviors, very important among commercial drivers? When they abuse substance, they embark on criminal behaviors.
Yes.
Can you enumerate on this?
Thank you very much. When you see these drivers misbehaving on the road, some of them, you see them facing one way, especially the tipper drivers.
Driving against traffic.
Against traffic. That's the time that you see. For somebody that is driving against the traffic, you know that that person, something's wrong with him. He's risking his life. They're risking the life of other road users. And again, you see them, they will be very violent. Very, very violent when they are being stopped by a law enforcement agent.
They refuse to stop.
So, in fact, apart from that, when they will first of all refuse to stop, but when they are eventually stopped, they will be very violent, and they can even fight you. We have cases whereby we stop an offender, a truck driver, a tipper, precisely. And when we look at it, we have about 3 bottles of beer, that is empty inside what they call it. And he came out to fight with our men, remove all his clothes, naked. I started fighting with the police. In fact, we had to overpower him. You know what I'm saying now? I was locked up. And that's the effect of the alcohol. You know what I'm saying now? That, Then again, you see them, like what my brother the NDLEA said, most of them, they want to make a trip twice. It's very common, especially during this festive period now. You see, that's all the time they take these types of drugs. They want to make 2 trips instead of 1. You know what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
Over speeding, going at a suicidal rate, and the resulting effect is always road traffic crashes. So those are the basic things that we normally see them do on the road. You know what I'm saying now? And we don't go with them. They are risk to other road users, and we will ensure that they are brought to book anytime we see such an offender on the road.
Driving against traffic, overspeeding, and things like that. A lot of things. Even criminals, when they take this drug on the road like this, they do things that are unimaginable.
Some. I will have cases whereby some will abandon their vehicle on the road and leave. Thus, in argument with what they call it, when they're being stopped by men, they say, okay, divide their actions, the way they will be behaving. You know what I'm saying? Now you know that something's wrong. They will drop the vehicle, lock out the vehicle, and leave the vehicle. Sometimes we have to go and even tow that vehicle for that. You know what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
But, so those are some of the actions that you see most of those people are involved in.
Some illiterates who are into driving, they think that when you are naked, you are assumed to be a madman. And then the law enforcement agents will leave you. Please, law enforcement agents, if somebody pulls down his pants, and this person committed an offense, he pulls down the pants, still hold him. Time will come when that his madness will go away, and he will tell you the truth.
Exactly. We don't really such.
I've seen that severally on social media during this COVID-19. Somebody was protesting. Abi will not go chop. Hungry, why me? Before you know it, he has removed everything. If I'm the police or NDLEA, my friend, I will hold you by your dick. You must follow me. Until those things clear from your eyes,
exactly.
Then you act normal. Okay, Oga NDLEA, what's your take on dangers of driving and drinking? Because for one to drive dangerously, he must have taken something that is abnormal.
We have been saying this. We are always talking about the lives of people. Government is spending a lot of money on security agencies, doing a lot of developmental projects for people to enjoy. However, the drivers that are taking drugs or other substance with a view to drive, they are negating the government effort.
Yeah.
Yes. And we are talking about survival. We are talking about life. Like the road safety people will tell you, life does not have replicate. And if you want to drink something moderate. You can drink water. You can drink other soft drink. However, the danger is just so enormous. You can see in a road crash whereby you can see 10 people, 5 people, 20 getting themselves died, and as a result of a fault from the driver. And that driver that was responsible must have taken some drugs. We are not now talking about drivers to help in sparing the lives of people. If they don't like their lives, the passengers love their lives. So that is why we used to encourage the passengers to talk to the driver that is driving the vehicle which they are inside in a rough manner. If he is overspeeding, make sure you call his attention to that he's overspeeding. Because sometimes the passengers will close. There are those that are interested in the driver. That driver is good. He's good one. He's very fast. We're not talking about fast. It's better late than you become.
And if you tend to carry down, they tell my friend carry a witch.
Yes. So
don't
what
bewitch our driver.
we are now telling people that there are so many drugs, not only alcohol, even the cannabis sativa. It gets somebody hallucinate.
Yeah.
You see things not in the proper perspective.
Yeah.
You see something which you feel is normal, but it's not normal. You can see a bridge, and you can think it is a gutter. You understand what I'm saying? So when you are now driving, and your mind is telling you different from what is in the reality, you know what that means. When you see, for example, human beings on the road, you believe it is a chicken that you see. So you can say, if it is chicken that I override, nothing will happen. But meanwhile, it is not chicken.
The human.
It's human being. So the drugs that somebody takes changes the perception of the person. It changes the distance. The place that you see is very far. The drug can bring it closer to you. A pool, you can see a pool, and the drug can tell you that it's just a small gutter.
Just a pond of water.
Yes. We have a situation whereby you will enter into a shop, and somebody who is under the influence of drugs will believe that all the cameras, all the people that are working in that, they are not seeing him. So he will begin to pick things, putting inside bag. And he feels, the drugs tells him that nobody is seeing him. This is when he is going out. Then they will hold him. They say, what do you have here? He says, do you see me? You understand?
They don't see him.
Yeah, so the drivers that takes those type of drugs, the drugs will tell them entirely different things on what is exactly on the road. And that is going to cause a lot of problems, not only to him, but to the people that he is carrying and the general public that
thank
are
you.
using the roads.
Thank you very much, Idris. Let's go on a short break. We'll be right back. Thank you very much, dear esteemed viewers. We are going down the line. If you want to call us and ask questions, you can do that on 07046 777 6070 777 644. The numbers are there clearly written on the screen. Also, the other line is 081 222 72384. Those are the numbers there. You can call us and ask your questions. I have with me the boss of the NDLEA in Anambra State, Musbahu Muhammad Idris, and also have Andrew Ayodele Kumapai, the members of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Anambra State, Nigeria. And I'm coming to you, sir, of the FRC, is there anything like law prohibiting the sale of alcohol in motor parks? Is this law still in place? Is this law still enforced? Because I don't think that much is happening as regards enforcement of getting the drugs and alcohol off the parks.
Well, I think there is no law, such law. Like I told you earlier, administration of motor parks are under the purview of the local government.
Yeah.
And I'm aware that the local government have made edit, I mean, what they call it, edit, you know, saying that there should not be sales of alcohol in the motor parks. But one thing that is lacking is proper enforcement and monitoring, which we do. In conjunction with the NDLE, we make it a responsibility for ourselves to ensure that we read the parks. And several times, His Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, has always very, very been conscious, especially concerning these sales at the motor parks. He will always say that we should conduct it with FRC and NDLE at the motor park, especially during festive period, because he wants our roads to be safe. And they so care about it. You know what I'm saying now? So we do it, jointly like that, so that we don't find our drivers indulging such a thing. But what is lacking there is the enforcement, monitoring on the part of the local government officials, of those parks. Yes.
Okay, Oga in the LEA, I'm seeing you for the first time, and I'm happy to have you in the studio with me. There are things I and people out there may want to know about what exactly are the functions. It's not only one function. I said the functions of NDLEA. What's the main function of functions of NDLEA?
Oh, that's a very good question. We have been here for a very long time. At least I want to see it clearly that I'm coming to Anambra State for the second time. I was here in 1999, 2000 as a second in command. The functions of NDLA is as a result of United Nations. We had requested for Nigeria to have an agency that will take the issue of drug, in particular the drug issue. One of the functions is that NDLA is to reduce the supply of drugs, that is supply reduction. How do we supply reduction?
The supply reduction?
The supply of drugs.
Okay, of bad drugs?
Bad drugs, illicit drugs, to reduce it to the BRS minimal. And we are engaged in palm destruction, cultivation of Indian hemp in the forest. The NDLA is highly involved in destructing those plantations, and those that have succeeded in the harvest, and they are taking them and distributing them. It is the action of NDLA to arrest and seize those drugs. You can be surprised to hear that during the lockdown across Nigeria, over 70 tons of illicit drugs were seized from those that are merchant. We call them merchant of death because, and it is also the function of NDLA to reduce the demand. Then how do we reduce the demand of these drugs? We have to bring the availability will have to be reduced. There is no drugs. Then we'll now talk to people of the dangers that is associated with taking drugs. That is, even the NDLA has two main departments, demand reduction unit. This demand reduction unit is responsible for public enlightenment, is responsible for rehabilitation of drug victims, is also responsible for what we are calling counseling of drug victims. I want to use this opportunity to tell people that those parents or community leaders that have their children and what that are involved in drug abuse, they can seek for assistance from the expert in NDLA. We have a department there. We have a rehabilitation center, even here in Onitsha, where you can take your child, and that child will be will meet with experts, and they will counsel him on the dangers associated with drugs, and they will rehabilitate him. And after some times, after he's been rehabilitated, then we release him back to his family. And this thing is done in conjunction, in collaboration with the family. It is like a social service NDLA is offering. So people will think that NDLA is all about arresting. No, we arrest and we prosecute the drug offenders. But one important department in that agency is the one that is helping those who have drug problems to get off hook that drug problem. That to assist the parent. A lot of parents will come to us crying that our son or our daughter this and that are in drugs. So how do we do it? And we collaborate with them. We sit down. We admit such person in our clinic.
You plan a rehabilitation of the person?
Yes, we have a rehabilitation. And I want to also put in a record that even the state governor is planning to build a modern rehabilitation center. The land has already been allocated, and the processes are being in place to make sure that the rehabilitation center is being built in Anambra, so that it will assist in reducing the incidences of drugs among our youth. And NDLA also carried the campaign of drug abuse into schools, because they say cut them young. We have to get them young. We have to let them know about what is important in their life. What we are now saying is that these youth, these young people, are the people who are going to take over the responsibilities of these countries in the years to come. So how do we allow them being destroyed by drugs? By allowing them to be destroyed by drugs, the consequence is that we are making our life to be very, very difficult in the years to come, when we are supposed to sleep with our 2 eyes off closed, but our children are already being taken over by the drugs.
You are talking like a imam this time. The other way, I would have called you a pastor. Go ahead.
Okay. But it may interest you to know that I'm the chief imam of the agency. So when I talk in that direction,
that's very good.
It's accepted. We have to talk to the people. We have to talk to the religious organization, non-governmental organization to key in. We have to also call on the parent to key in. We have to talk to the school authorities to key in. We have established a lot of drug-free clubs in most of our secondary schools, with a view to letting them know what is they supposed to know. Sometimes
you're giving me a topic I'll do with you: drug abuse and the law. We are going to do that in OKBS.
Okay.
Drug abuse and the law, because I still present this program there.
Okay. So what I'm now saying is that NDLA is more or less a humanitarian agency, and apart from that, like you see, you have a stick and carrot and sticks approach. When we come on operations, we close our eyes. We don't show mercy to those people who don't show mercy to the Nigerians, those drug barons, those drug barons, those drug traders. They don't take these drugs. What they are interested in the money that is in the drugs, so that they will enjoy it with their family. So we say no, we will not allow you to destroy our society. We are going to go after you wherever you are. And those people who are having that interest of continuing, they better stop, because when you are being arrested, you are going to rot in jail. There's no two ways about it. That is another aspect. Then prosecution is another way by which NDLA operate. In some cases, there are some agencies do not have the prosecuting power. NDLA has the prosecuting power of all drug matters. Even if that drug is in another place, for example, if Bureau d'Assumpti arrests somebody with drugs, he doesn't have the capacity to prosecute. He has to bring it. Even the police do not have the capacity to prosecute drug cases. The sole purpose of prosecuting drug cases is a right to NDLA. And
are they not taken to court and sentenced to some years of imprisonment?
Who?
The drug offenders, the drug peddlers.
We take them to court.
Okay.
Federal High Court. Okay, we have 2 courts that are sitting. Presently, we have over 100 cases that are being processed at the court.
Yeah.
So, and in this year alone, we have secured over 20 convictions. And So we are now saying that the NDLA also participate with other security agencies, like the governor has brought us on board, isn't it? He always carry it along, always encourage us with all the support that we require in order to undertake our assignment successfully.
Okay, thank you.
We are happy about that.
We did not start well on time. We have to be very fast now. Sir, what are the likely risky behaviors that are noticed when drug driving? I think you mentioned, you've mentioned something like this.
Yes.
Does the passenger have any blame on driver's drunkenness?
Yes. Like the passengers has a role to play. In fact, the one that has risk. Anytime they are in the motor park, want to board a vehicle, they must be very watchful and take notice of that driver.
Let's take this caller. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and location, then your question.
I'm John. I'm calling from Boss.
Okay, go ahead, John, with your question.
Please, this ballpark, there's a lot of drug trading going on there.
The ballpark
The NDL, yes, ballpark. The NDAL boss, they should do something about it. If you go there, you see them, even the packaging it and selling to drivers and those people around them. They don't do it in secret. It's open. You see a tray, I know they will be cutting and the packaging. So you need to do something.
What type of drug is that?
Indian hemp.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they say a lot of kai as well.
As usual. But that marijuana is, it's an eyesore. It's an eyesore.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've taken note of that.
Yeah. Okay, the NDLEA boss and the road safety boss, it cuts across their responsibilities. Both of them here in the studio have had you, and they're going to do something about that. Okay, so you may continue.
Yes, like I was saying, the passengers have the responsibility of ensuring that they took notice of the driver. If they notice that the driver has traces of alcohol, it will show by the action of that driver. Now, the best thing is for them to make a report. They either report to the management of that company, and if the management refuse, then they can call us. Call 122, the 122, the helpline, our emergency number.
The 122 is the emergency help number of the FRSC.
Yes.
Okay.
I can be reached on that line. Or they call, in Anambra State, they can call my official line, which is 08077690543. And I want to assure you that something will be done. We will stop that driver from driving, and the company will be prosecuted.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. NDLEA boss, how does drug abuse affect the community from where the driver comes? Does it have any negative impact on the community?
Definitely.
Yes.
Drug generally, if it is illegal drugs activities, and somebody is being arrested for drug peddling and is being prosecuted, it has stained the family. It has stained the. Only that a lot of people don't have shame now. Somebody will arrest him for drugs, you prosecute him. The next time he will tell you, I have not killed a person. So, but unfortunately, you didn't know that drugs are killing a lot of people indirectly. You may not necessarily carry a sword or gun to shoot somebody and kill. That means you kill a person. If you give him drugs and you make his life miserable, you make his life unproductive. And sometimes you will see that even his being there does not make any difference with somebody who is dead, isn't it? So what we are now saying is that make sure that anybody who is involved in drugs abuse is what we call is being arrested. It will cause shame to the family, it will cause shame to the society or community that he comes, and more so if he is taken to the prison, what we call now correctional services. So
okay, thank you. Because of time, dear esteemed viewer, we have come to a close of this program. I want to say a big thank you to Musbahu Muhammad Idris of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, as well as Andrew Ayodele Kumapaye. But just before I will let either of you, both of you go, from the Federal Road Safety Commander, Anambra State, Kumapaye, can you talk to the viewer out there, particularly the youth? A word of advice in a minute.
Well,
I forgot the topic we just handled.
Okay. They should please stay out of drugs. For every driver, please. They should stay. They should not indulge in alcohol taking. If you don't want to drive, please, they should not involve in themselves in taking alcohol. And again, they should stay free. Please, we are in the COVID-19. COVID-19 is here with us. Let everybody stay safe. We should use our face masks anytime we are going out, and we should practice social distancing. And again, we should be very, very conscious that COVID-19, it does not discriminate, and it can get caught. So please, let us stay safe.
Okay, I now turn to Musbahu Muhammad Idris, the boss of the NDLEA Anambra State. Sir, in a word or two, what's your advice to our drivers who drives under the influence?
It's very, very important that you look at the effect of whatever you are going to do. When you take drugs, what are the likely consequences? That will help you to streamline your thinking and make sure that you don't drive under the influence of alcohol. For the parents, they should monitor their children on what, and the youth should know that they are the future of this country, and they have to be involved in a useful venture that will help in building Nigeria and making them to be useful to the Nigerian society. We are very much proud of the youth. We have to protect them, we have to preserve them, we have to make them safe. Like my colleague has said, it's a period of COVID-19. We have to stay safe. We have to make sure that we observe the protocol of COVID-19 in order to be alive. It's only when you be alive you will tell the story. So if you want to tell the story, try to make sure that you take responsibility of your actions. Thank you very much.
That's a very good one there. You have to observe the social distancing, you have to observe the hand washing stuff, you have to do all that is recommended by the government of the state, in particular, then the federal government, so that you stay safe and across this temptation, this pandemic that is standing before us. So, dear esteemed viewer, this is where we draw the curtain on our today's edition of Citizens and the Law on ABS Television Channel 27 on Nature. The topic has been driving under the influence in law, and I want to say a very big thank you to Musbahu Muhammad Idris, the Commander of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Anambra State. Chief Idris, I want to say a very big thank you for coming. I also want to commend and say a big thank you to the big man at the center, the commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps Anambra State, Andrew Ayodele Kumapaye.
Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
I am the anchor of this very program. My name is Jude Mascot Ubiagu. Until we come back next week with yet another interesting package of Citizens and the Law, it is bye for now.